something about non-citizens and voting. Let's see.
Let's get back to the D.C. election now. The primary is in just 5 days, and this time, non-citizens are allowed to vote for the local races. In our last hour, we told you about the controversy surrounding this new law. Now, we want you to hear directly from these voters. Jess Arnold went with them as they cast their first ever ballots at an early voting center, and she joins us live from the D.C. Board of Elections in Southeast. And Jess, I can imagine that this was probably a really huge moment.
It really was, and they decided to vote in person to mark the occasion. And they said that this is just their first step in giving back to the community that they have grown to love.
Got all the way back.
Thank you.
It's a big moment for Abel Amene and Chris Rustenpour, both non-citizens voting for the first time in D.C.
But I also have other forms of mail.
Years ago, filling in this ballot was one of those American dreams for Abel, who moved from Ethiopia 25 years back. Now he's voting and the district's first ever non-citizen advisory neighborhood commissioner.
It's the culmination of several years of work for me and advocacy for non-citizens to get the right to vote. So this is a monumental moment.
For himself and other immigrants, like the ones who own Mita Ethio-Japanese Cafe here in Northwest DC, where we met. And for Chris, who moved from Iran in 2018 for grad school and now work.
I feel very excited. When I got my ballot in the mail and I saw the little I voted sticker, I got very emotional about it. I see it not just as a right to vote, but sort of as a responsibility.
But there are some who would rather they not take up that responsibility.
Non-citizen voting is actually as American as apple pie. It's been happening for centuries. We pay taxes. I could be drafted, so I'm not really sure where the controversy is around. All we want to vote for is our ANCs, our council members.
A person who is on the path to citizenship or has applied for asylum or is undocumented wouldn't really risk registering when it's illegal to vote in federal elections.
So far, the Board of Elections says more than 500 non-citizens are registered to vote. When they do, they'll use a ballot like this one.
It clearly states at the top here that it's a local, and in the one that citizens would be facing, that indication is not there and includes federal elections.
What are the issues that are propelling you to cast your ballot and deciding who you are voting for?
One of the primary issues for me would be housing. The costs are increasing, and it's very difficult to keep up with that.
The biggest issue in our neighborhood is the cleanliness of the neighborhood and how the lack of that contributes to a rat problem. And a lot of issues that we see, like housing, food insecurity, all these things that people in low income face, immigrants are actually at the forefront and the most impacted.
Feeling impassioned to improve their communities, this ballot is just the beginning.
Now, right now, about a third of those registered non-citizen voters are registered as independents, which means that they can't vote in the D.C. primary. They have to wait until the general election. Now, for those who see this and do want to register, you have to have lived in D.C. for 30 days and not maintain your voting status in another state or country, and bring that proof of residence with you when you go to register at a polling place. Allison.
All right, Jess, thank you so much.
Oh, boy.